All right, hey everyone, this is our first set of notes here, and we're going to look at something we're going to refer to as the pyramid of hate. We will refer to this throughout the entire course, and we'll see examples of this through the entire course. So this should probably be a pretty easy set of notes to make your way through, but it's important that we cover the basics. So some basic terms that we will use throughout the course. Stereotypes. Okay, so again, we all have been a part of stereotypes. We've all seen stereotypes. We all know stereotypes. Usually when we do this in class, we go through and talk about, stereotypes about, certain people like basketball, certain people don't spice their food, certain people are good at math, certain people love to play soccer. We probably already know who we're talking about just because they're stereotypes. And we'll look at stereotypes with Jews in particular as we get into class. But when they really take hold in a society, becomes a problem. So the big part of this to differentiate is two words that I think a lot of times get used interchangeably: prejudice and discrimination. So prejudice, you can see a negative attitude towards a certain group and its members, versus discrimination, which is an unfair treatment of the members. So if you see the difference, then you can see the root word prejudge. So prejudice is all about thoughts, and maybe words, but really kind of prejudging how you think about people. And discrimination is all about the action. So a lot of times kids say, oh yeah, I know these things, but then when you really look at the difference, prejudging is more maybe verbal and thoughts versus an actual action. Okay, and scapegoating. Anytime you take a certain group of people or a certain person and blame all the issues on that one group, that would be referred to as a scapegoat. So we'll see this. Hitler will do this with the Jews almost to a T after World War I, scapegoating them for all of Germany's problems. So these I'm gonna go kind of quickly through. Stereotyping language, caricatures, and they overemphasize certain features, big lips or greasy hair or big eyebrows or big nose. We'll see all those. Now, looking at this, black father tells his son he does not believe he should date white men because they're all stuck up. Is this prejudice or discrimination? Now, in this case, this would be prejudice because it is the act, it is the thought. And he's not actually forcing anything, versus this one, white father refuses to let his son bring his black girlfriend into their house. So this is where it's discrimination, because he's actually taking that prejudice and putting it into action. So again, usually we do these in class. You can see some of these questions. Where do we learn to disrespect people? Why do people do this? Socially, tribally. Why people separate other people into different groups. Okay, and you think about this, and you can just kind of think about giving examples of prejudice that you've felt or learned from your family. Okay, so now when we look at this pyramid, okay, and I'm just going to start at the bottom. Okay, you have these acts of bias, or sometimes it's called prejudice attitudes. Okay. So the first level, we've all done these things: rumors, stereotyping. You just accept negative information. Okay, pretty low level stuff. But as we see, it's going to just kind of snowball, into things getting a lot worse. Okay, so now in this one, you have more of the name calling. Okay. Ridiculing, and in these two bottom ones you can see on here, it's referred to as prejudice attitudes, and then over here it says acts of prejudice. So a lot of times, I'll say this first one is just your thoughts, okay, whereas this one is your words, okay, but you're not actually physically doing anything, okay. So the two bottom ones, just think thoughts first, words second, okay, and then you get into discrimination. So harassment, where you're physically stopping somebody from doing something. You're not allowing somebody to partake in something. And then violence. Okay. So whether it's individual, you can see threats and harassment and murder, or community, vandalism, lynchings. And then the last step here in this pyramid is genocide, which, again, we all do these bottom ones. Okay. But as you can see, these are non-criminal. These you can get sued for, civilly. These are criminal. And then war crimes and genocide. So we'll spend a lot of time in our next set of notes really breaking apart the definition of genocide. So the deliberate, systematic extermination of an entire group of people, and really dissecting what that word means. So this set of notes, again, it's pretty base level stuff, but it's just really the foundation that we're going to use for our language for the rest of this class. And the big thing is to differentiate between those biases, your thoughts of prejudice versus your prejudicial words versus your actions of discrimination. And there'll be parts on the quiz that'll give you examples, and you really got to slow down to look at the difference between, is it a thought, is it a word, or is it an action? Okay, so that's it. First set of notes. Yeah, have a great day, guys.